Alright, try another video here. I went to the doctor's yesterday, my psychiatrist, and I'd never told him about, you know, the hallucinations or the delusions and all that. He was actually my doctor, the psychiatrist in jail. When I was in there, he had tons of paperwork on me, and I don't even remember talking to him. But I was fortunate enough to have him. He works in the county, and then in the jail part-time each. So he's you know, he's really cool. He's a pretty gentle soul. So I actually think it'll help when I go to try and get my case expunged, having the doctor who had seen me in the height of my mania or psychotic episode, you know. So anyway, I won't use his name, but he's been really cool to me. But I did, this is the first time from a non-manic state telling him about the recurring hallucinations and delusions of, you know, hearing the voices and hearing God talking to me now. That's happening. I don't even know if it's delusional. You know, a lot of people, I think, hear an inner voice of God talking to them or telling them what the right thing to do is when they may you know, not able to make a clear decision on what the right path is for them over anything, really. Anyway, and I told him about seeing the angels and the demons, and all he did was up the meds again, so looks like I'm going to be on a heavy dose of Seroquel. What I'm doing now, I drink coffee a lot. I don't like to promote football, but this was my father's coffee cup, and it's kind of OG Green Bay Packers, so that's for you, Dad. Drinking coffee now instead of beer and Jack Daniels, so after, I was like shaking. I was really nervous about telling him this because I don't know if he can lock me up in a psych ward or a group home or something like that. And after having, you know, told him some of the specific instances and what the recurring things are, and the bats and the spiders and bugs crawling on my arms, that doesn't happen too often. Mostly when I'm like falling asleep is when that happens. So after talking to him, telling him all this, he says, well, you seem to be doing a lot better. We'll up the medication. So he's actually upping the Depakote and the Seroquel. And then he said, I said, well, you know, this stuff is really scaring me, you know. But he knows about all the suicide attempts, so he said, you're not suicidal, so you're doing better, and you look like you're doing better. So I don't know, maybe looking homeless looks like I'm doing better, I don't know. But I told him prayer is really helping me, and I think I'm going to start trying to write prayers for myself, and I think I'm going to switch while I'm doing this YouTube to try and get comfortable talking to other people about mental illness or alcoholism, hallucinations, or, you know, I don't set goals that I'm going to rush to go do, but it would be nice to work as like a social worker or someone, or just a speaker. I know in the psych wards I was at, they'd have they'd have a man or a woman come through who just, you know, they have the addictive background and all the stories that you might be able to help someone that's suicidal or drug addicted or homeless. So, you know, I'll leave my options open. Maybe the, you know, the legal issue won't have too much bearing on that if I'm a good person and I do stay clean and sober. So, I don't know. I don't do much networking. I can tell in my AA class or AA meetings that people are wanting to talk to me more, but I talk to my sponsor. He's an old timer, and confide in him, and anyone who's new who sits by me, I introduce myself now, but I'm pretty much out of there once I get my court card signed. So anyway, yeah, so prayer. And then he said something to me, he wants me to take a blood test to check the levels, and I can't stand getting my blood taken because I still believe, whether it's a delusion or not, I have the right to believe that blood is sacred, and I think that they might use a dirty needle or something that's going to infect me. Or one thing I said to him is, like, what do they do with all this blood they take from people, you know? Not so much for blood donation, but like in the psych wards. And when I was in jail, we were going down to eat, and this was in a different unit, and this guy came up next to me, and he looked just like picture perfect duplicate of my friend Daniel. And I'll describe what he looks like because you got to kind of visualize it, but it's really long dreadlocks, white guy. But this guy, I mean, he had the same hairline, the same nose, the same. I really thought it was Daniel, and I don't know if I was on meds, but I only saw him that day, and so they must have moved him to a different unit or sent him to a different facility. But that was pretty creepy, man. So it makes me think that, you know, these taking the blood from psychotic patients or this, maybe they have a connection with a holier bloodline that leaves them open more to demonic attack and open more to just difficulties with life, because you're living in the spirit realm, but then you're expected to act so normal and regimented in contemporary society, you know? And I don't know, man. I believe in that. And there's a band called the Bad Brains, and they have a song called FVK, stands for Fearless Vampire Killers. It's a figurative vampire. I know I mentioned that in the earlier video. It's a metaphor, people, you know, not a real vampire. I'd like to talk to a real vampire. If any of you could recommend a video or something, I'll shoot them a email. I don't want to kill them. It's just a figurative thing, man. To not be scared of the evil, you know, to rise above. And you know, PMA is another one of their, I think, is it called the acronym? I don't know what it's called. Positive mental attitude. So that's kind of where I try and live now. And the dark forces and the panic, although you still see them and feel it, you start to realize it doesn't really have any real power over your life, you know. And you can send them away, you know. I mean, I got holy water and crucifix, more than one in here, and I'll shut them down, man. I might try and become an exorcist, you know. the special needs phone number and just live very modestly. I don't know. That's how my head trips out, man. Plus I've been drinking coffee all night, so. But yeah, you know, with the figurative vampires and the politics and, you know, you can't stop the machine, you know. And I think when you're manic or psychotic or even just high off drugs or people head tripping, it's like you think you can save people, you think you can save society, you think you can make it right, you think you can bring peace, love, and harmony. I don't cuss much, but all that hippie bullshit, you know. I mean, I embrace the peace part of it, but, you know, you can't stop the machine. I don't know if you guys watch TV, I don't really, but there's a show called TMZ, and, you know, that's gonna be the last TV show playing before, you know, Armageddon or the world explodes or the atom bombs drop. You know, people will be laughing at scavengers and celebrities, you know, and that bothers me, but you don't have to take part in it, you know. I'm starting to learn it won't bother you. In the Bible it talks about when you start, I don't know, my interpretation, when you start to get righteousness and goodness and the Holy Spirit, you'll intuitively choose not to see evil and not to hear evil things, you know. And even at the doctor's office, and I talked to my mom about it too, with the TMZ or the, you know, news, CNN or MSNBC, even religious programming. I don't watch that anymore either. It hardens you. And when the doctor said it, the same exact, almost exact word for word like my mom said it, it hardens you. And you're not supposed to harden yourself, you know? You're supposed to humble yourself and just be kind. And when you're hearing about all this fear and just the demise and suffering of the world, man, it bums me out, you know? Like, I write prayers now and read prayers and learning to do the rosary, you know? I kind of do it my own way, but I have a lot of time right now, so I might as well learn how to do it the right way, you know? But for me, if I just pray if I saw something on TV about, I don't know, man, even you see the cats and dogs getting abused, you know, just pray for them. I guess they're just animals, but I don't know. I feel too hippie, you know. It's like I want to buy some sandals because I'm in Southern California, it's summertime, but I'm starting to think maybe some steel-toe boots, man, and just go full militant personality, you know, roll into AA with chains and steel-toe boots on. Everyone's scared of me anyway, so I don't know. Just trying to get used to talking about this stuff, I guess. Some coffee, probably shoot videos all night. Alright, I'm trying to do this thing here. It's like this. I think that was backwards. Oh well. It's a boring one. We'll see. I'll post it.